I never wanted to do a 9 to 5, and I don't think I'm fit for a 9 to 5. I was meant for something different. You don't get a job for what you earn, you get a job for what you learn. Everything that causes you problems in this world, Colin, is to do with your ego. You refuse to grow because your ego is keeping you stuck where you are. Your ego is getting in the way of you becoming your greater self.
Hello and welcome to the Self-Unemployed Podcast, where we talk about the journey to becoming financially free and self-unemployed. Today I've got a guest with me, Mr. Corey Rees. He is a property investor. He does property deal sourcing and also has a lot of experience with serviced accommodation. Corey, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do now?
Yeah, so my name's Corey. I'm 31 years old now. Been full-time in property for about 3-4 years. And I operate mainly in South Wales. I live in Swansea. I have a bunch of all money BRR deals that I've completed on. I've got a lot in the pipeline as well. My portfolio is worth close to £1 million now, which is amazing. And I also source deals for other people, whether they be rent-to-rent, BRRs, or anything in between. Or maybe even combining the two strategies, which is something I'm doing now. Rather than just buying a BRR and putting it on AST and getting like £200, £300 a month, I'm now buying the BRR, making sure it's in a prime location for Airbnb, and then utilizing that strategy after getting all my money out. So really exciting times, man.
So yeah, we'll get more into that. But I want to know a little bit more about you. So tell me, you're obviously Welsh and you're living in Wales now, but you've lived all over the world, haven't you? And different parts of the UK. Tell us about where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Birchgrove in Swansea. Bit of a shithole. Birchgrove itself isn't that bad of an area. It's just I grew up on a council estate. And then, yeah, like you were saying, I've been all over the world. I've been to Australia. I lived there for about 2 years. I was in America for a bit. I went to Japan. I've been to, where else have I been? I lived in Canada for a bit. I've been everywhere, man. You name it, I've been there. And the life I've lived, like the people I've met, has made me very open-minded to different people, different cultures. It's made me a very outgoing person, and a very non-judgmental person as well, actually, because I've just met so many different types of people.
Yeah,
I love people, man.
It really does open your eyes and broaden your horizons and make you realize, make you appreciate what we have here, but also realize what we don't have here, and how a lot of people do kind of live here with kind of blinkers on and just think that life is
they're in the box.
But anyway, let me just go back again. So you grew up on a council estate, so presumably people there were not very wealthy, and probably most people would most likely continue down that path and not become entrepreneurs, not get that education. So what was different for you?
Well, put it like this. I mean, I never wanted to do a 9 to 5, and I don't think I'm fit for a 9 to 5. My personality, my short attention span, my unwillingness to do things that I don't enjoy doing, I'm not fit for it, right? I don't fit in to that
either.
box. A lot of people do fit in, and a lot of people are very good at their job. A lot of people are great at Tesco's. They love fucking scanning items and having pleasantries with people and making small talk and, being in on time and things like that. Like, they're good at that, and that's amazing. So that's great. But I'm not good at that. I was meant for something different. That's all. I've just automatically been led down this path of making my own money, making my own way in the world, because it's the way I am. It's the way I'm wired. I have to, like, even this interview, bro. Well, this interview was meant to. Well, if we want to go right back, this interview was meant to happen months ago.
We've been trying to arrange this.
This interview is a long time in the making.
So okay, so there wasn't anything any sort of standout experience or contact that you had when you were young that sort of opened your eyes to being entrepreneurial? It's really just like your personality meant that the sort of normal 9 to 5 rat race just was not for you, so you had to find something else, and you found entrepreneurship and property. What was your next step then, from leaving the council estate in Wales? What was where did you go next?
But here's the thing, right? I got the job in the call center, and then they did the TV show, The Call Center, and they were going around the room and they were like, there's cameras filming you, and some people may or may not end up on TV. Like, is that something you're comfortable with? If it's not, you need to sign this. And he was saying, but some of you, I bet you're going to be stars on the show. And he looked at me and he was like, you're going to be on the show. I can already tell. And sure enough, BBC asked me to be a part of the show. I was dating a girl there at the time. They were already doing a bit on her. They decided to put us together. They made a whole episode of just us. And then I got sacked from the call center because I wasn't very good. And then the BBC were actually ringing me up all the time, asking me to finish my part. They were like, we need to come finish your section of the show. When can we come finish your section of the show? So we finished that. Then I did a bunch of other shit jobs. I wasn't really into sales at the time. I was reasonably good because I'm quite naturally good, I like to think. But I didn't have it. Like, I was nothing like I am now. I just needed a job. And sales is always the easiest job to get and the hardest job to keep. Because anybody will get a sales job. Like, I will give anybody a sales job, and then you can just sack them when they don't sell. And you'll keep the minority of them that do well. And I was not in the minority at the time because I never applied myself to it. So I did that for a bit, bounced from job to job. And then when I got the opportunity, I booked a work and holiday visa in Australia, just because I'd had enough of the UK. And I went out there. And then when I was out there, I did farm work. That taught me to work hard. That did, because I needed to do the 90 days in order to stay in the country. So that really taught me the value of hard work. Then I saved up so money. I went to Japan. And when I got back, that's when I was like, I really need a job now. And that's when I got into sales and I started studying sales.
So this is, when you say got back, you mean got back to Australia?
Yeah, because I went
to
Japan when I was in Australia, you see.
Okay, and I think sales is quite a good stepping stone into entrepreneurship, right? Because if you know how to sell, that's kind of the most important part of running a business.
Well, that's why I did it, because in Robert Kiyosaki's book, he talks about you don't get a job for what you earn, you get a job for what you learn. So in his book, he was going to work for people because they had the best sales training in the country. And I was just like, oh, right. So I got to get into a job in sales because that way they're going to teach me how to sell. And then I can use that further on down the line. And when I did.
Yeah. And when you say, so just to clarify, when you say Robert Kiyosaki's book, you're talking about.
Yeah. Did I just say Robert Kiyosaki's book?
Yeah. But so many people say that reading that book was a key life-changing experience for them. So, and it was for me too. But it's interesting. I didn't get the same thing out of it as you did. I didn't get the same. Well, I remember reading about the sales thing, but I guess sales wasn't really something I wanted to get into. So that's not really wasn't the main takeaway for me.
How many times did you read the book?
I read it once, and then I've dipped in and out over the years as I recommend it. 20.
I've read that book about 20 times.
Really?
And if you started reading that book to me,
you'd know it by memory.
It was. I know it off by heart because I listened to the audio on YouTube as well. So I know the whole first chunk is of the story and everything about the dad and everything. And then it gets into the nitty gritty then. And then, at the end, then you get some real solid life advice. And if you take the time to listen to all of it, again and again and again, because they say that you only learn what is it? How much of a percentage of a book do you learn after you read it?
Really, it's a very simple. The principles of the book are very simple, and there's not much to it. But it does just it gives you those principles over and over and over again in different stories, over and over again, right? And that's why it's so sort of effective. It's very readable because it's all stories, it's all anecdotes. I don't know whether they're true or not. Doesn't matter.
All
There's
stories,
an
in
underlying
my eyes,
truth.
all stories are made up. Yeah, they're all made up. It's all fiction.
Yeah. All
This whole
stories are
fucking
made up,
thing
even
is
if
like
they're
a
based
fiction.
on truth.
This whole thing is a fiction. So you might as well make it up.
You know what? I actually did another podcast with a friend of mine who's a writer, and that it was called Fiction Hack, and it's all about storytelling. And one of the episodes we did, we were sort of trying to figure out what is it that makes a good story, what separates a good story from a bad story. And the conclusion that my writer friend, who's a genius, came up with, he said, it's because a good story is always true, even if it's science fiction or fantasy. There's an element of truth, like it speaks to a deeper truth about the human condition. If it does that, then people can relate to it. So, yeah, whether it's actually based on true story or not, as long if the story speaks to the human condition in a true way, that's what makes a good story. And yeah.
Also, if you think about it, every story is actually your story. So any good story that you read, you're putting yourself in the driver's seat of the main character, the protagonist. So it's the hero's journey, right? It's like George Lucas, and the main character of Star Wars is Luke Skywalker, right? George Lucas, because he's the main character in the movie.
Luke Skywalker.
In all those movies, like when you watch that movie, you are the character. And you are the character in this movie, which is the ultimate movie, right? So there's always lessons to be learned from. Yeah, life is a movie, bro. Of course.
Yeah.
You're the main character. I'm the main character in mine. You're like, you're playing your role and you're part of my movie, bro. And it's really cool, man.
It's a shame we can't rewind.
If you look, well, yeah, I mean, but everything happens for a reason, and I think that the story is almost like the movie is already filmed, right? It's your life is already set. However, if you really tap in and you figure out what's really going on here, there's multiple different endings to your movie. And if you get in there and you influence, there's a way for you to influence the movie. You can make the ending of the story change. That's how I look at it. But your life is already set. It's already written out. Like my life may have been different than what it is now. Like I was probably supposed to get a job in Tesco's or some shit. But I doubt that because of what I just said previously. But who knows how my life is supposed to turn out? But the thing is, I feel like I'm very connected to my reality, and I have the ability to shape and mold it and mold the clay and make it look like I want to look at. Like I feel like I'm manifesting my dream life sometimes. I can see things happening, and I'm like, wow, like things are actually playing out like I thought they were going to play out. But not everybody can do that. Some people feel like they're a victim of their life, and things are not going the way they want, and that's just the way it is. But I don't think like that. I think if things aren't going the way I like, it's because I'm not influencing it enough.
So do you think, though, that those people who think that they're a victim of their life, a victim of their situation, those thoughts become reality and they manifest that for themselves? Yeah?
Yeah, because your thoughts are all there is, really. Like you're with your thoughts all the time. Your thoughts create your reality. Of course they do. How the hell could they not? I have a narrative about you in my head. And no matter what you do, Colin, it's going to be very difficult for you to change that narrative because it's my narrative of you. You're a character in my movie, and I'm a character in your movie. You probably and it's going to be very difficult for me to change that. And the reason it's going to be difficult, Colin, is because through no fault of your own, I've had thoughts. The minute I met you, how unfair is this? The minute I met you, I started comparing you to people that I'd met before in my life. And I started my mind started trying to figure you out. Who is this guy? He dresses like this. He looks like that. He's on this academy. And then I automatically sized you up before you've even opened your mouth. God bless you, Colin.
But this is normal, right? This is what everyone does. Yeah. Everyone, every time we see someone cross the street, we make a judgment about them. It's not something we can avoid.
Preconceived notions, beliefs.
Yeah. And this is why I'm trying to get to know you a little bit better on this podcast, because I want to get my vision of you your character in my film a little bit closer to the reality and the way you see yourself. So
Right. Which is good, man. I like that
yeah.
because a lot of people are very close-minded and they don't want to know. They don't want to be proved wrong. Like people think, like you can see in my comments and things, I get a lot of hate. And, one of the things was people thought I was selling a 12 grand course. And people are like, why don't you just tell everyone? Like people don't realize that you're not even the one selling the course. So why don't you don't even say anything? And I'm like, because it doesn't
so hold
matter.
on a minute. Just remember, not everyone watching this is going to be on the academy. A lot of people will. But so, what you're talking about by this course is the Samuel Leeds Academy, really. And it's not just a course. It's a hell of a lot more than a course. It's several courses. And
it's a cult.
Yeah. So if by cult you mean like a community of people that really want to help each other and support each other and see each other do well, then it's a cult and sign me up. But Samuel Leeds is not making us drink the Kool-Aid or make us worship him or anything like that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Give him time.
No, he's not going to do that. It's not. I can understand why people think it is. Sometimes it feels a little bit like a cult to me, but in a good way. And I'm, I actually just signed up.
Let me ask you this.
Years.
I know you did. I seen the paper. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Samuel Leeds is a Christian man. Samuel Leeds is a Christian man, correct?
Yes.
And do you believe that Samuel Leeds will do anything that God tells him to do?
Yes, but like how God speak. Like I grew up as a Christian. I've had some doubts more recently, but I know that culture very, very well. And what do you mean by God tell you to? Because God doesn't.
If God came to Samuel Leeds in the night and said, Samuel, I've got a mission for you. I gave Noah a mission to build an ark. I flooded the world to rid it of all its evil or whatever the hell the point of that was. I want you to build an ark and get 2 of every animal on this boat. Do this for me. So if God came to Samuel and said something like a command, like I want you to do this, do you think Samuel Leeds would do it?
Yes, but
okay.
God doesn't.
So what if God came to Samuel Leeds and said, "God, huh?
God doesn't speak like that.
Who does he not? Tell me how God speaks, Colin.
Well, that's a good question because that's one of the reasons I have doubts. That's one of the reasons that I started to develop doubts because I felt like
I don't think Samuel has doubts though. I think Samuel would. I think if Samuel was told by God to do something, I think he would do it.
Yeah, but you see,
therefore,
when God speaks,
yeah, when God speaks,
when God speaks, you can never be 100% sure that it's God because He speaks through, or this Christians believe
many different forms
through thoughts that come into your head and when you pray and meditate. But I started to think, well, that this kind of thing happens anyway, and even if theoretically God didn't exist, the belief in God would still be a powerful thing. Even
it's the belief that's
like
the belief
prayer,
that makes it powerful.
We talked about manifesting, and prayer is a form of manifesting, and it is powerful. And some prayer will be answered even if there is no God, that you're talking to. I mean, some things that people pray for are inevitable. Like people might be praying that the war in Ukraine will end. Well, it won't go. It can't go forever, so it will end. And when it does, they'll praise God because that's what they've been praying for. But that was kind of just inevitable. But other things, other prayers will be answered by chance. I remember being in church once, and it was during when there was that tsunami in Japan, and this woman told this story about how some kid got washed out into sea. I mean, and hundreds of people did, or thousands of people, and their parents prayed, and he came back, and he washed back, got back, and he was okay. And I was thinking, well, that's not really a miracle because that's just one kid, and there was thousands that died. It would be a miracle if 1,000 to 1 chance, and all 1,000, you know, were fine. But for 1 in 1,000 to survive a 1 in 1,000 chance, that's just chance. You know, so chance also can also answer prayers for some people. And you know, just yeah. So that this is where my doubts came from. This is weird. I never thought this conversation was going to go this way. I've never talked about this publicly, really, either. So yeah, this is sort of where my doubts came from. But I haven't completely given up on it. There's some things that still make me think it might be true. The way the world's moving, the way the world's going, and a lot of that is all kind of predicted in certain ways. You can see things coming into reality that are kind of predicted, which is interesting as well. So yeah, no, I respect Samuel's faith a lot. But
I would worry less about. I would worry less about what's true and focus more on what makes you happy. Because anybody that tries to tell you they know what's going on.
But Samuel as well, it doesn't push his religion on anyone, and he's very respectful.
No, I don't think he pushes his religion, but I think he feels like he says that he feels like he is instructed by God, and that God put him on this earth for a mission, and that's who he attributes his power to.
And you know what? Just the belief in that, having a sincere belief in that, is going to give you a lot of power. Regardless of whether
and sometimes that power can be used in a bad way. Like, for example, when there was that, like, I just found out the other night, there was a Beatles song or the Beach Boys song, and I think it was Charles Manson. I maybe get it completely wrong, but some serial killer heard that song and he took it as a message from God, saying that he was instructed to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously not Christianity, but yeah, I
mean, when people say God, it doesn't matter whether it's Christianity, Buddhism, it doesn't matter. He's basically saying, well, it's not my fault. God told me to do it. So this is the problem. People get this God thing, and it's like, well, if I was instructed by God to do it, then it's not wrong because God is right. So, like, you know, it can be a dangerous thing, man. I look at it. If you want to know what I think I am God, and I think you are God, and I think this table is God. I think that we're just characters in a movie. God has taken his essence and put it into everybody. When I say God, I don't mean a guy in a fucking robe, and I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about what happens when you remove Corey and you remove Colin, and what's left. And what's left is consciousness. Yeah. Consciousness, I am isness, and aka God. And that's everything. So there is, like, I don't look at it like, if God give me instruction, then that's called intuition.
Yeah.
And that's just trusting in something outside of yourself.
I was listening to Jordan Peterson just before we talked earlier this morning, and he says that, you know, somebody asked him, why don't you ever talk about whether or not you believe in God? And he says that's too big a question to talk about. But he says that he tries to live his life as if there is a God, but whether or not he does, he doesn't know. Which I thought was an interesting take on it. And yeah, because we don't know, we can't know for sure, and this is what faith means. Faith means you don't know, but you still believe. And that's
I got faith tattooed on me, man. Like,
oh yeah.
Faith.
So what have you got faith in? Why did you get that tattoo?
In me, like in trusting that things are working out for me, not trying to meddle with everything. I don't know anything, man, and nobody does. Like, it's not just God. Yeah. We don't know anything. So it's like, you just gotta trust in something, bro, that, like, everything is working out for you, and that you don't need to worry and you don't need to stress. It's all just a dream. Go with the flow, enjoy it, and things are probably gonna happen. differently to the way you see it in your head.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because you still have to have faith that even though things aren't happening the way you thought they were going to go down, it's still leading you to the greater good. And even if it's not, you have to have faith that you're going to be okay with the worst thing happening. So let's say that I was to, lose all my houses. Oh, I'm going to lose all my house. I'm going to lose all my money. I'm going to lose all my respect. People are going to shit talk me, not just in the Instagram, but in the real life. They're going to treat me like a leper. They're going to spit on me when I'm walking past them in the street. People are going to hurt me. Like,
Well,
what's the
this has
worst
happened.
case scenario?
Look what's happening in California at the moment with these fires. This is
Fires, yeah.
This is happening to people. They're losing everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And,
but
you just got to,
I do want to
take
take
it away from you tomorrow.
I do want to take issue with one thing you said. You said something along the lines of that, like, life is about just trying to be happy, right?
Well, I said to you, I would focus less on trying to figure out what truth is to you, and focus more on, like, just be happy.
You see, I don't agree with that. I don't think that we should try to be happy. I mean, obviously that's one goal, but I think if that's our only goal, we're gonna fail, because you can't be happy all the time.
If your goal is to find truth, you're also going to fail until you die.
Well, I think our goal should be to find purpose, and purpose can only be something that benefits others, benefits the world, benefits humanity in general, not just ourselves. Otherwise, if we just try to serve ourselves, we will be miserable, because it's unfulfilling. It's far more fulfilling to help others and serve the world. And that is actually kind of one thing that I do want to talk about in this podcast, because this podcast is kind of broadly about investing and achieving financial independence. But the thing is, what happens when you do achieve financial independence and you don't need to work? Because a lot of people, when they retire, they lose purpose in their life. So this is about, a lot of what I want to talk about in this podcast moving forward is about finding that higher purpose that isn't our job, and also being able to become financially independent so that we can achieve that higher purpose and be more productive and have an impact on humanity and our culture and our community and our family, in a higher way than if we were just consumed by a 9 to 5 the whole time. That's what this is all about, to bring it back, because this has gone off on a deep tangent. So yeah, let's bring it back. So you're in Australia, you're learning sales, and then how did that then lead to property? What was the next thing?
Yeah, I mean, I started off, I wasn't the best at sales. I had a really good mentor who I went out with every day. He taught me a lot of stuff on sales, just watching him and learning and being out in the field with him every day. I moved in with him in the end. And then, yeah, man, I just took off. I started making like £1,000 a week. So I was making $4,000 a month, saved up a bunch. Wanted to invest in the property in Australia, but I couldn't. It was too difficult because of the getting the mortgage. So I came back to Wales and I started doing it. I'd always wanted to invest in property, because I knew it was a way to make money without having to work. You don't have to be there. And that's what the Rich Dad Poor Dad book gave me. And actually, I read this one during lockdown, which you should just check out. I had to order it again because this was the first book I read on property, really. Like, because Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad is not just property. But this one actually gets into a bit more than nitty gritty about it. I remembered this book, and now I've ordered it again from Amazon because I want to read it now with a new perspective, given how much I've learned since I read this. I remember reading this and thinking, oh man, I need to get started in property. I found this in a letterbox, like one of them boxes where you can put a book in, a community bookshop or whatever. You take the book out, put another book in. I got to read that now. It's only just come the other day.
So that was just completely by chance, but that book could have influenced your whole life.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when you look at it like that, yeah, 100%. You can't take those things for granted either. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, yeah. So, but didn't you meet the twins while you were in Australia before you were into
Yeah,
property,
so
and now they're also doing really well in property?
yeah, well, what it was, I was working in a shopping center and I just like did a really good day. I was walking past on my break and Gavin is working in HelloFresh and he calls me over and he says to me, he's like, hey man, I come over here. I want to have a chat with you. You're wearing an RSL shirt. Like, tell me a bit what you're doing. And I look at him and I say, Gavin. Well, I just say Gavin. They didn't know his name. But I said, I don't want to buy no juices. I'm just on my break and I gotta get back. And he's like, it's not juices, it's Hello Fresh. I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm on my break and I don't want to be sold anything. And of course, Gavin's super persistent. He he said, oh, well, we run a company and we want to take on more staff. I said, look, man, I'm too busy right now. And we end up catching the same bus together on the ride home. And he talks me into coming in. He's talking me into coming in and having a chat with the hiring staff. So I think, well, I said, how much are you paying? And he told me, and it was like triple of what I was getting with my boss. So I went in, I go in, I meet the hiring manager, and she says to me, you know, this is how much you could earn. And I was like, sold. So I quit my job and I joined in. And I'll never forget the first day I'm going into the office and I'm kind of nervous because, you know, it's the first job. I don't know anybody here. So I'm looking around the room, looking for somebody who I know, and you know, there's no one there. And then I see Gavin, and I walk up to him. I'm like, "Hey, man, how's your day going?" Like, I took the job, and he ignores me. And I'm like, "Oh man, that's awkward. Like, what the hell? You told me that you wanted me to come here, and we had this good conversation and rapport on the bus. Turns out it wasn't Gavin; it was Mitch." Because I see two of them then in the same room, and they're twins. I'm like, "Oh, there's two of you." So yeah, that was like, okay, so yeah, I get that. Now I'm good friends with both of them. Do you like that story?
Yeah, no, that's great. And then that relationship was really important, wasn't it? Moving forward and getting you into property, although not immediately.
Yeah, what happened was I came back. Well, I went to America. I crushed it doing sales out there. I did like 30 sales in one day. I did 70 sales in 1 week. I got awards. I got 1 year. Like, this is the only one that's not been trashed. I broke. Here we go. I'm getting all the props out. First you had this, I got this. This is my membership of the year. For it doesn't say. 2021. Fuck. So I got my awards, and then I was like, right, I'm going to America. And people were saying to me, why are you going to America? You don't know anybody out there. Like, you're just going to fail. And I don't give a fuck. I'm going to America because my goal is to live in America and live the American dream. And I went to America and I was trying to find people who were going to give me a job in sales in America. And I just thought it would work out because I was following my intuition. I was letting go and let God, as you would say, probably. But I ended up not getting anywhere. I had to come back to the UK. And then I got really into property then. And then Gavin and Mitch got back to the UK. And then Gavin and Mitch, I'd already gone to the Samuel Leeds Pound Crash course by then, and I got the BRR training, right? Only the online one I did. And
I guess that was during COVID then. It was 2021.
No, Joe, it was after. This was the end of 2021. And then I went to America, and then I came back. So Gavin and Mitch get back, and they're like, and they told me before this, they were like, we're going to start a business in the UK. It's going to be super successful. I didn't think it was going to be in property. And then they ended up going to they were picking my brain about Samuel Leeds because they'd been watching all the YouTube videos. I never watched the YouTube videos. I just heard about him on an article on Facebook. So, you know, they tried obviously getting me to sign up to the course. I told them where to stick it. And, but I did end up doing the £99, £900, I think I ended up spending, or maybe a bit less because I won it in a raffle. Anyway, they were asking me about it. They ended up going to a pound crash course, and they signed up for the academy, which I didn't even know about because I didn't get that far into the funnel. And they paid 12 grand. And I remember I looked at them. I was like, dude, that's the stupidest fucking thing that you could have, like, I can't believe you did that. You've been ripped off. Actually, do you know what? I didn't say it like that, to be fair. I was a bit nicer than that. But I was like, good luck to you, because that's a big commitment. I respect you for doing that, but fuck, I don't know how you're going to do it because you've only got 12 grand to your names, as far as I knew. And then all of a sudden, they're selling deals, fucking doing rent to rent. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't understand any of it. I ended up going to Canada, and then they started making some serious money while I was in Canada. I was like, oh man, I think I made the wrong decision. Maybe I should have opened my mind up a little bit, and maybe I would be making more money now. So I ended up coming back. I moved to Watford. I'm a massive action taker, man. This is following my intuition again. People won't do this. You know the amount of times I've just packed up everything and left? Many times. Because if I think that I'm on the wrong path, I'm like, my superpower is that I'll change paths instantly. And people will not do that because it's tough. I was in Canada. I was living a good life. I didn't want to be in the UK. I can't stand the UK. But I sacrificed because I knew that this was where the money was, and my goal and what I want for myself in my future. I need to have a lot of money. So I came back, joined the academy. Now it's been a year, and Gavin and Mitch aren't on it no more. I'm not on it no more. We're all growing and we're all doing our own things. Some people are going to do it within the academy, and then some people are going to go off and do it by themselves. But it's a beautiful thing, man. It's
So you've come to the end of your academy membership, and you're not going to renew? You're not going to?
Don't you try and talk me into it, because I just got off the phone to Tony Crook. Tony's been trying. Look, my thing is this, right? I am too big of a personality. I clash with Samuel a bit because I need the spotlight on me as well. And right now, Samuel doesn't give me no spotlight whatsoever. Also,
well, there's like 1,000 people in the academy. You got, you can't.
Well, yeah, but he's got his shining stars. He's got Narelle, he's got Kane. There's certain people who get a lot of, and I love that for them. I think it's amazing, and I think they should stay. Actually, I definitely think that that's the right place for them. And Kane is so young, man. Kane will be doing his own thing about it. I did a video with Kane, and I was like, and Kane's going to bring her an academy one day, and you lot are going to pay 12 grand to join it. Kane is a big personality as well. He's just waiting to blossom.
I'm interviewing Kane tomorrow for the podcast.
Shout out to Kane.
And Narelle.
Kane, the world's youngest landlord.
yeah. And possibly Narelle later in the week. So, yeah.
Narelle is great as well. They're great people. I'd be sad to go, but like I said, man.
But then, okay, so you've come to the end of your membership, but has it been worth it then? You started out as a skeptic, and what about now? Do
you know what? Like, how do you define worth? Do you know what? I think it has been worth it because I've grown a lot as a person. It's been very stressful. Yeah, I know. There's been times where I'm like, what the heck am I doing? And the level that I'm at now compared to when I started, it's like night and day, really. But because it's been so difficult, I think it was worth it for me. I made all my money back, so how could it not be worth it, right? I've made all my money back. I've built this awesome reputation for myself. Look at my Instagram, it's popping off right now. I've got loads of people who trust me, loads of people who know, like, and trust me and want to do business with me. I'm so grateful. So I will say that. But would I recommend it for someone else?
What's your Instagram handle?
Oh, my Instagram is Property by Corey.
Okay, so check that
Property by Corey.
If you're watching.
So follow me on Instagram, and I make content almost like 3 times a day these days. This is why I want you to send me this, because it'd be like content for me.
I just want to quickly say thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe and all that, and subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review. All those things are super useful. But if you like what you're hearing and you'd like to become self-unemployed yourself, then I'd really like to build a community. And the way that I'm doing that is I've got a free mailing list that you can join. And when we record these episodes, they're going to be put out as live streams. So you'll get to see a little bit behind the scenes. You'll get to see the episodes before they go out on the main channel and on the podcast. And you'll get to interact with us as we're recording. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, head on over to the website, links in the description. And I look forward to chatting with you as we record future episodes. I will.
Here's my dilemma. I do not recommend it for anybody. Why? Because I don't know you, and I don't know your circumstances, and I don't know your headspace. How can I recommend the Samuel Leeds Academy to anybody? You could go on there and lose all your money.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
I don't know what you're going to do with that information. No, you might go on there and you might just not get it. How many people do you think, Colin, are on that academy and don't do anything?
Quite a lot, yeah. I think a lot of people think that signing up for the academy is the thing that will make them money. But it's education. It's going to teach you stuff, and it's great. But you've got to take action on what you learn. And if you're not the kind of
so I'm not going to. So I'm not going to be in the. And even if you do take action, there's still no guarantee. Anytime you make an investment,
no.
People think that I'm pushing I'm not pushing shit. I'm not a Samuel Leeds associate, affiliate, any of that jazz. And I get a lot of heat because I said to people that I'm proud and I respect that they spent that money, because it takes balls to do that. Like, people are like, no, you're just stupid. Nah, man. You may be stupid, but it does take balls as well, because not many people are going to put that amount of money down, and because they're betting on themselves. They are, like, whether people acknowledge it or not, they're saying, like, I'm going to make a financial commitment to this. And when you commit financially, it's completely different to just saying, I'll give it a try, right? And I said that, and then people assumed that I was pushing a course on people and that I was selling a course even, and I got a bunch of hate for it. But the truth is that, let's get it for the record now, guys. I do not have a course yet, and I do not recommend that anybody buys Samuel Leeds' course. I reckon you should do your own research, and I think
But hang on. So when you say you don't recommend that people do it, you're not saying you recommend they don't. You're just saying that
I'm not recommending anything.
I'm not going to push
you
into it. It's your decision, because it is a big decision and it's not for everyone. But it is for some people, but those people need to come to that decision completely on their own without being pushed or coerced or
I think it's good to sell people. Like, I don't disagree with this, the method of selling courses and everything. Like, you're going to sell your product, obviously, but
you've got to sell,
with, like Samuel said, ethically.
Yes,
with great power and that means great responsibility.
And that means that you have to be selling something that you genuinely believe is going to be of value to the person you're selling it to. And the same thing can be valuable to one person, but not to someone else, especially something like a course, because it really depends on that person, whether they're an action taker and whether they're going to, because I've met people who sort of, they sign up and then they're like, I said, so you booked in for the next 3 months of the trainings? And he's like, I don't think I'm going to come to them because of my job and stuff. It's like, well, you just paid money for that. Paying the money doesn't mean you're going to get the money back. You got to
I don't think people with I don't think people with a job should do it, because it's too time consuming. I did everything almost.
Yeah,
I was in all the bloody calls every day of the week. Not until the end. Obviously, I fell off a little bit. But I was on all the Monday night masterminds except one. I've been to all the dinners except one. I've booked at one point I was booking in like a mentor call a day. Some people don't book mentor calls in, period. Right? I was always putting my hand up for everything. Anything come up, I'm there. mate, I drove to like most of the inner circles to speak.
Yeah.
I've spoken at
So
most of the
yeah,
inner circles. Who the hell else has like? There are other people,
I
but
have. I've
not
spoken
going
to
to.
quite a lot of them.
What you?
Probably not as many as you, but
Well,
I have spoken. I've spoken at
not as
ones
many as me.
from Bournemouth to Newcastle. So, and not everywhere in between, but most places in between.
Well, Newcastle is quite far, to be fair.
Yeah, but I've got a couple of properties up there, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it made
But yeah,
sense.
man, I give it 100%. It drains me.
Yeah,
and it took 100%.
So
It might not take 100% for everybody, but
so it's what you make of it, and there is so much that you can't make the most of everything they offer, because even some of the inner circles, a lot of them are on the same day, so you can go to every inner circle.
yeah, you can't do everything.
Not within a month, because there's and also when there's inner circles, there's also Zoom calls at the same time, so you literally can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned
No.
Mentor calls, inner circles. So the inner circles are the local meetings. Mentors are like experts, solicitors, property investors who've got a lot of experience that you can get on the end of the phone, within a day's notice. So there's so much that is really good. But like you say, if you don't use it, you're not going to benefit.
And also, it's all good having all the knowledge in the world.
Yeah. We're going to say the same thing there, aren't we?
Well, yeah, we were. We're on the same page. I could read this book back to front 6 times, but if I never buy a house, what's the point?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares if you can speak French if you never go to France to speak the language? No one cares.
Yeah. And it's not
Robert
Kiyosaki that scams you by making you buy his book, because he's done his part. He wrote the book. You've got to read it, and then you've got to act on what you learn. If you don't,
and this is why people. But in defense of the courses, this is why people keep commenting, "Oh, you can get all this information for free online." Yeah, of course you can. No one is denying that. But
you can get the information.
You go and do it? Because of course you can. I can go on ChatGPT right now and find out how to build a rocket ship. Yeah. I can go on ChatGPT right now and build a rocket ship. What's stopping me from doing it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a bit different because that's resources would be stopping you from doing it. But it's not just information that you get on the academy. You get the community.
No, you get coaching.
Support. Yeah, coaching, mentoring, and just being with lots of other people that want to do it. Yeah, so you're talking about social media. Your Instagram is blowing up and stuff. What's that been like? What have the interactions on Instagram been like?
Well, I get a lot more prospects. I get people reach out to me wanting to collaborate. I get people reach out to me saying they want to sell their house. Can I come buy their house? I'm doing a great job of marketing myself, but I also do get a lot of hate.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with social media, isn't it? It's full of keyboard warriors and trolls. So, what sort of hatred have you got? I mean, is it bad? Are they? What's it been like?
Well, look, for example, we got one year now, like, nobody believes you, like, bro. And I just say, well, I don't care. And he said, terrible attitude for someone looking to help entrepreneurs. Surely you'd want to inspire prospective clients that you won't be slandered and you back up your claim. So, like, people want me to get in the pit and argue with them, and they want me to get down to their level, but I will never do that because it's funny to me. Okay, like, it's funny to me. And also, I think it's good for me. So I look at the hate as actually a very positive thing. Do you want to know why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't. What was it? Someone said, I think it was Samuel actually said, you can't, you can only hate someone if you're looking up to them. Was that Samuel?
Yep.
So yeah, it is a form of flattery in a way, because
I mean, if somebody says something really good to me, I don't look at that as a positive thing.
Why not?
Because if somebody says something that's really good to me, it boosts my ego.
Yeah.
And the ego, Colin, is the root cause of all problems. If somebody says to me, Corey, you're amazing, you should start your own academy and start charging $12K. You're the best. That's really bad, Colin, because it makes me less connected to reality. Two, if I believe them, it boosts my ego and I'm less connected to a deeper part of me. I also feel like I have less to offer the world now because people are saying I've already achieved it. I've already got to where I want to be.
Yeah.
If something hurts my ego, then it's really good. So if somebody says something to me and it hurts, which does happen very rarely now, I will say, then
but it's different though, because somebody can say something that hurts. If you then realize, yeah, that's true, then that can really hurt. But then that can be positive because
that's constructive. Well, that's constructive. That's brilliant because that's constructive criticism. Yeah, and if I allow my ego to not take that on board, but the ego is the bad guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. You've got to ask the question of, if this person says something to me and it hurts me, is that bad? I think it's a good thing. It's like going to the gym, Colin. If I go to the gym and I work out, I'm going to be in pain. But that pain is good for me because it's sculpting my body. These things that people are saying to me are good for me. It's really
this
good.
Is what I was getting
if
at.
something
this is what I was getting at earlier when I said I don't think our goal should be to be happy, because it's only through that sort of adversity and challenge that we can appreciate what happiness is. But I don't want to get deep again.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, look, so I think
being ridiculed and trolled online is one of the easiest ways to get your ego hurt. Technically, if my ego is the enemy and it feels bad when I have my ego hurt, then that means that it's a good thing. And the people and this is the best part. The people who are dissing me and making fun of me online, they are helping me, but then they're hurting themselves, Colin, because it works the other way. So when your ego is weakened, the more you have more power in this world. When they insult me, what they're doing is they're strengthening their own sense of who they are. They are saying,
they're trying
to that's what they're trying to do.
We're
all playing a game.
Feel important by knocking someone else down.
They're trying to hurt me, but what they're really doing is they're hurting themselves. They're keeping themselves stuck. And they're helping me by destroying my ego. And like I said, the weaker my ego is, the more power I have. And you might ask, well, why is that? Well, think about it, right? My ego will make me more overconfident, so I won't listen to people. So if I had a really big ego now, I'd be when we were talking about God, I'd just be like, well, I'm not going to listen to what Colin's got to say because I know what's up, right? So it's going to make me more overconfident. It's going to make me angry. I'm going to react emotionally. I'm going to say things that I regret. Everything that causes you problems in this world, Colin, is to do with your ego. So I love the comments online. I love being dissed. I laugh at it. I look at it like if it was happening to somebody else, would I laugh and have a giggle? And the answer is yes. And these people, I don't know.
You're probably inviting loads of hateful comments on this channel.
Yeah, I do think, but I literally put stuff up to trigger people.
But you know what? For the algorithms and stuff, it all counts as good.
Man. Of course it is. It's attention. It's energy.
Engagement. Yeah.
It's energy, bro. You're literally they're giving me their energy. They are literally.
But do you think though that I think you might be in a minority in that sense, but I don't think
Yeah, I
everyone
am.
would
Of course I
react to
am.
that sort of hatred in that way. It's like
No, of course
it's
they
like
wouldn't, because
the
people
crab. It's
don't
like
know that.
yeah. It's like the crabs in a bucket story, where you got if you put one crab in a bucket, it will climb its way out. But if you put 5 crabs in a bucket, one will try to climb up, and the others will pull it down. Well, you're someone when someone tries to pull you down, you're going to like kick them away and use them to help you climb out. You're gonna sort of fight against it, not physically, but kind of psychologically.
Well, I don't fight it. I don't fight. I don't disagree.
Right.
They may
You just
be
let
right.
them-
Like
Yeah.
they may be right. Like, but what it all boils
Well, it's when
down
they are
to,
right that you really learn. You really learn. It helps you to look inside and change. But then some people would, if something is right, then that might give them this sense of shame that makes them then really scared to put anything else out.
Yeah, most people would never look at something. If I said something negative to you, and I said people don't like that because it hurts their sense of ego and they react to it. They're like, no, that's wrong. I'm like this. And then two egos are clashing. But not many people think about the fact that all the hate is actually good for you. And when people say positive things to you, that's actually bad for you. Because if I say positive things about you, Colin, like your podcast is great. You were a great interviewer. You are the best interviewer I've ever jumped on a podcast with. Like you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be less connected to reality. Your ego is gonna grow. You're gonna get out of control. And you're going to make decisions based on emotion. You know, you're going to say, you know, and you're going to think you're right. And yeah, it's going to hurt you in the long run, Colin. So when I tell you that you're shit and I hate your podcast and I'm never coming on it again, just know, bro, it comes from love.
But I think though that good comments, bad comments, they hurt if they're not true. But if they are true, then they can be beneficial. Because if I'm crap and you say I'm great, then I'm going to keep putting out crap. Or my even worse crap. But if you are honest with me and say, this could be better, that could be better, or this bit was crap, then I'm going to make them better next time. But if it's good, if there's something that's good, then and you say that, then I'm going to do more of that. So yeah, I think it's truth. It's not hate that's good. It's truth.
Some of it is constructive criticism. Some of it's just constructive feedback.
Yeah. But some of it's just stupid.
But you laugh at that then, don't you? You laugh at it.
Yeah.
Oh man, my comments are crazy. I think we should read some. Let me see.
Go on then.
Go on then. Let's see. This one got a lot of hate. This got 210 comments, and it's just me telling a story.
Okay.
Oh, it's cold. Okay, one guy said, "Imagine paying to hear this." That's one secret nobody will give a shit about. Spreading. Jesus wept. Are they being paid to stand around and listen? Why are people meeting to listen to this shit? Bro said absolutely nothing anyone needed to hear. Yeah, keep it secret, yeah, and I'll post it on Instagram. Bro, these are funny comments, man. Like, anybody who can't have a laugh at this is taking themselves way too seriously. And some people do say some really bad stuff to me. So some guy said, this I thought was quite deep. This one I was like, oh man, why are you saying that, bro? Like, but I didn't feel bad. I felt bad for him because he said something like, you're never going to make it. Quit now. And I was like, oh, bro, why are you saying that, man? Like, come on, man. Like, he must have failed and given up. So he wants me to give up because that makes his inadequacy acceptable then. You just wasted 12 grand. Stay out of property. You won't make it. I don't think, listen, I made my money back. But this guy wouldn't, if I told this guy I made my money back, he doesn't care. He's more concerned with inflating his ego than learning the truth. Like you said, Colin, the truth will set you free. The truth. Listen,
Yes.
this we're gonna edit this clip and put it up, right? We're gonna edit this clip because this is wake up time. You people online have got to realize that you are missing out on something here. You are missing out, right? People are making $3,000 selling deals. I made $5,000 selling a deal the other day. People are doing this. People are doing rent to rent, and then this is real. This is actually happening.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. Now you can hide and you can, diss people online who are doing it and say it's a scam and it's fake and it's not real. But me and Colin can tell you that this is real. You are just not on the top of your game. You refuse to grow because your ego is keeping you stuck where you are. Your ego is getting in the way of you becoming your greater self. That's why when you diss me online and you bring me down and you hurt my ego, it's amazing for me because the weaker my ego, the more power I have. Isn't that the damnedest thing? Isn't that the greatest? It's beautiful. It's poetry.
So, but maybe that it is true for them. It would be a waste of money for them, but that's on them. That's because of who they are, and they just can't see it because they're looking at life from a completely different perspective.
No, they're scared. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't invest $12,000, not just because they think it's a scam, which I'm sure they do, but because deep down, somewhere inside, they don't think that they're going to be able to achieve their dreams. Because who doesn't want to make $12,000 selling courses? Somebody said to me the other day, why are you spending $12,000 on a course? You could put it into this. And he was like, we're just going back and forth. And he was like, well, I'll bring out a course then, and you can pay me $12,000 for it. And I said, okay, great. I said, why should I pay you $12,000 for a course? And he's like, oh, I'm joking, bro. I can, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, well, if it's that easy, why don't you just do it then? Like you literally just, you had the idea then. You thought outside the box a little bit there. You were like, oh, well.
And he had a customer. He had you.
You had a customer and you didn't sell me. I was like, why should I invest in you then? Use my money. You tell me why. But the truth is that guy probably hasn't done a lot. He said he had three buy-to-lets or something. What? And if he, but that was before. He didn't never give me a reason why I should invest in his course. It's not even made yet. But this is the thing, and this is why I respect Samuel. He has gone and he's created something, and the question isn't the question you should always be asking when you're going to go buy stuff is, can I get enough value to justify buying this? Is there enough value to justify the amount of money I have to hand over? And in my eyes, because I've made all that $12,000 back and then some, and I've grown, and it wasn't easy, by the way, it was tough. I've grown into the person I am now, and I've got more growing to do. So that's why I've got more money to spend. Then that is worth it. It's worth the money. But that doesn't mean that you're going to fucking invest it and grow, because with your attitude, you're just saying it's a scam. But that's where I was at one point. I wasn't ready. Now
are you
I'm
saying
ready.
It's a scam, or are you just a little bit skeptical? Because you've come around, obviously.
I don't think it's a scam.
No, but
I don't think it's a scam.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I don't think you did think it was a scam. You were just a bit skeptical, so you were open to the idea of it being a scam. But it's not.
I was way too. There was no way I was going to hand over $12,000. I would need absolute certainty. And that's why some people will hand over $12,000. Some people will, and they shouldn't. It's so funny. It's all just opinion. No one is right. It's just opinion, man. I think, but the problem with these people who are leaving these comments and saying that I'm scamming people or Samuel Leeds is scamming people or whatever, they're never going to make anything of their lives, because they think everything's too good to be true, and they don't believe in themselves, and they're not willing to take a risk. And if you don't take a risk, then you're always going to stay in the same spot.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I'll say it again. It's taken out of context because I took it out of context, and I got to hold my hands up to that as well. People are saying, oh yeah, you got a boost for that and you shouldn't have. Well, I was poking the bear, wasn't I? Let's be honest. I knew what I was doing. I put a video up to get a reaction. and I let people think whatever they want. All I did was put the video out there and let people make their own evaluation. But people made an evaluation on what was going on, and it was incorrect. I was not selling the course, which goes to show that people are misinformed, and they will make a judgment on people, going back to what we said at the beginning, on as much information as they have. And they will stick with, and that's what I'm saying to you, Colin, no matter how hard I try, which I won't, to tell them, I'm not selling the course. They've already made their judgment and they have no interest in changing their mind. And they're not my people anyway. So I don't care. I'd rather them keep commenting hate and adding fuel to the fire. I add a fire emoji every time somebody comments hate because I want to add to the fire. I want to make it bigger and bigger and bigger because it's more eyeballs on me. What were we talking about before I went off on one? What was the question?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to say, though, that to a certain extent, that, I mean, just a certain amount of skepticism can be wise. You know, like you said, you were skeptical at the start, but you need to be open to learning. You need to be open to changing, because there are scammers out there. There are bad courses, you know, and especially in other forms of investing, forex and crypto, and you know that sort of thing. But there's also good stuff. So you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You need.
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because somebody said to me the other day, "Why don't you take that 30 grand and put it into crypto?" And it's like, people say crypto is a scam all the time. The only reason people are on the crypto train right now is because it's going up. When it goes down, oh, it was a scam. All these idiots invest in crypto. I'm glad I didn't invest in crypto. I was so smart that I never invested in crypto. And look at me. This is the ego talking. Wake up, guys. Look at me. I didn't invest in crypto and it was a scam and I'm the smart one. But now it's like, oh, I'm gutted now. I missed out on crypto. You're better off investing in yourself because you're improving yourself, which is your greatest asset. So you can make better judgment calls in the future.
Yeah, so crypto, I think, is the same as property. I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm saying some of the courses are scam.
No, but you do get scammed. You get scams in crypto. You get rug pulls.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, but it's not all scam.
No, of course not. There's always going to be scams in every sort of everything is a scam. Like what the government does is that's a scam. If you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Originally, they got people to vote taxes in, didn't they? They put it to the people, but they promised that the rich were the only ones who were going to get taxed. You remember the book? But then what did they do? They got greedy and they ended up taxing the poor and the middle class. And the rich people figured out how to avoid taxes by forming companies and things like that. Why? Because they've got the resources to do it and they're part of communities, whether it be a Samuel Leeds community or something even. These people are part of communities that we will never get our foot through the door probably. And, you know, it's going to be very difficult. They are mixing with people who make the rules. That network is their power. Like Samuel said, you can take away all my money. Don't take away all my network because I'll make the money back. But the network is the most powerful thing. Now, if you invest in Bitcoin and you make $100,000, what have you learned? You've learned nothing. You are just $100,000 richer. Yeah, and you're going to spend that money. And you're not going to spend it on education because you are the smart one who made 100K in crypto by accident. You're going to lose all your money. You're going to end up in the same spot. Whereas me, if I lost all my money, at least I'm learning, at least I'm growing. Like, at least my network is bigger. But I think most people, though, once they finish their education, their formal education, they're sort of done with learning. They don't think they've got anything else to learn. Once you get to mid-20s and you finish school and university, it's like, I haven't got anything else to learn. And that's most people. They just want to then at that point, they just want to get a job and start making money. And then they want to come home and have a beer. You know, they're not. Yeah, that's fine.
Their minds close at that point. But we're a different breed. And that's fine.
Yeah, we're a different breed. And it's my head that ends up on the chopping board because I chose a different path. You eat your fucking chicken wings and you drink your beer and do your 9 to 5. I have no problem with it. I need somebody at Tesco's to help me with my shopping. I need somebody at McDonald's to give me my French fries. I love those people, but they're asleep. Most of them. They're
Yes.
asleep and they're not happy, because if they were happy, they wouldn't be on my Instagram page commenting crap, because nobody says anything that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel at a moment. Why am I going to go on and talk crap about somebody else when I have no hate in my heart? I have no enemies. None. But they hate me. But I know that if they met me in real life, they wouldn't be like that anyway, because I don't get shit in real life. Of course I don't. People love me, man, but love and hate are two sides of the same coin. Sometimes people do my head in, and I don't want to be around people. And other times I love people. It's all you.
Yeah.
It's you. You are the main character of your movie. And even though all the other characters, they look separate, they're not, bro. It's all the same thing. And some people are so lost, they want to hurt people. But how can you, if you hurt somebody else, you're hurting yourself, because we're all the same. If I kick my dog, well, Gavin's ringing me. I'm going to decline it. If I kick my dog, it's going to hurt me more than the dog. The dog has no ego, right? The dogs don't have ego, as far as we know. He's going to forget about it, but I'm not. That's going to sit on my conscience, and it's going to eat at me. I shouldn't have done that. That was a horrible thing to do. In the same way that these people who were hating on me,
they just kick your dog.
No, of course I didn't. I would never kick. Maya is the name Maya is another word for illusion.
Imagination, right?
Illusion, goddess of illusion. It's not real, bro. It's just it's all a game. It's all like a game of Monopoly, and it doesn't mean anything, because what happens at the game? What happens at the end of a game of Monopoly, Colin? You get all the pieces, you put it back in the box, and you put it away. And it doesn't matter who had the most houses, who had the most hotels, who went to jail. You know, at the end of the day, we all go back in the same box, and we go back into the bed.
Yeah, and it's about the journey. It's about what we learned about each other. It's about what we learned about ourselves through that journey.
Yeah, and you can choose to grow and go on my journey. And I said this to my mate, who's, he got into property, and I said he's getting stressed. And I said this to somebody at the Samuel Leeds training. I said, "How are you doing, bro?" "Oh my God, I'm on a downer." And my mate said it as well. There's two different people. And this is what I'm saying to you. I don't recommend this for anybody. I said, you better get used to feeling like that, because this is the path. This path is not for the faint of heart. This path is not for you internet trolls. You are the spectators. I'm in the arena, and I'm not afraid to get bloody.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to get hurt. I'm looking to get hurt, because the more hurt I get, the more I'm going to grow. You can hurt me, but bro, I'm invincible. I am in this for no matter what, come what may. I love this journey. I love the ups. I love the downs. This is life.
Yeah, it's good.
And I'm playing it. I'm playing it at the highest level. And well, don't let me get carried away, Colin. I mean, my ego is starting to come back in you. I mean, look at Samuel. Look at the level he plays it at, and he still thinks he's got ways to go. But what I'm saying is, the people like me and you, Colin, we are in the minority. We are putting it on the line, and we're going, I want all of what life has to give me, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for it.
And I feel like it took me a long time, because I didn't do very well at school. I wasn't very academic. I wasn't like badly behaved or anything, but I wasn't very academic. And I guess school sort of taught me I was stupid, which I'm not. And it took me a long time to realize that I just have a different type of intelligence that isn't. I'm not terrible. I'm not thick, even by academic standards. But like, I never did particularly well at school, and I never really liked it. But I think that liking school is for a particular purpose. There's a guy called Ken Robinson who done a couple of TED Talks, and he talks about how school and the education system was designed during the Industrial Revolution to meet the needs of the Industrial Revolution, and that is true today as well. And there's some people that just don't fit that, but that's not because they aren't valuable people. It's just they're different to it's like that. You and me, we can't sort of. It's difficult to sort of stick to a job and being told what to do. We have ideas, and we want to execute on those ideas and try new things and experiment. And none of those things are
we want to try new
valued
things.
They're certainly not valued in the education system. As entrepreneurs, it's extremely valuable though. So, so I'm just wondering, if I think there's going to be people out there, because I'm 46 now, and
you must have a good skincare routine.
Me coming. Oh, thank you. But it's been a long time. If I'd realised how special I am in my 20s, rather than believing that I just didn't do very well, I wasn't, I was a C student, and that means I'm not very good. Thinking that is having too much respect for the education system and not realising that actually I'm an A-grade student, just on a different path. If I'd found that path earlier, things could have been very different. And I think this is another reason I wanted to start the podcast, because I think there are people out there who belong on our path, but they haven't found it. So I want people to find it and
what people need to remember is that everything that could be considered a curse is also a blessing. And if you spend less time focusing on the curse part and more time on trying to figure out the blessing, then you're going to do all right. But stop trying to fit in. Too many people fit in. Why do you want to fit in with other people? Maybe you don't. Maybe You're not meant to fit in. Maybe you're meant for something greater or just something different. It doesn't have to be greater, because at the end of the day, there are no winners. There is no finish line. There's just different things that people do. Stop getting that people are so wrapped up in their feelings and right and wrong, and it needs to look this way. It's not that deep. This is just a big dream. And that's why I don't like, that's why it would be so silly of me to even let the hate get to me, because it doesn't mean anything. It's not, like you said, it's not even true. It's just people getting angry because they're not winning at the game, Colin. They're not winning at the game. And rather than playing, they're just throwing their toys out the pram. I don't want to play the game anymore. But don't play the game then. But don't shout at me because I'm winning. I'm so sorry that I'm winning at the game, guys. I'm so sorry to everybody in my comment section that I'm doing well and I'm enjoying the game.
You're making me really think about myself and the podcast. And I think up until now, I have, even though, I'm saying these things and it's what I've said throughout the previous 9-10 episodes I've done, I think I am far too protective of myself, trying to be nice, trying to put things across nicely. I need to be a bit more badass, I think, on the podcast, and I think you're inspiring.
I think you're a badass. Actually, I shouldn't say that because it's not helping you. You need to man the fuck up, Colin. You're not, you know what I mean? Remember, like, the things that hurt you and the things that are good for you. Look, yeah, man. I mean, I'm in total agreement with you.
I am scared of the hate a little bit, and I need to not be.
Colin,
I need to realise that the hate.
Them fucking
I'm not.
Bro.
I have been. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need to realise that. I'm realising that more and more. But in the past, I didn't realise that, and I would try to kind of say things in a nice way and be nice and everything. But
people love people. Do you know what people love? Yeah, bro, you were gonna smash it, bro. Like, the one thing that people love about me is how I respond to it all. I am not hiding anything. You are willing to, like, I welcome all. It's like freedom of speech. I'm not going to censor anybody. That's why I tried to have the debate with the Belfast Basher, right? Remember that? That was funny. People loved that.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. You went out to Ireland, yeah.
I went to Ireland to go
debate
the guy.
Did you literally fly to Ireland to meet someone?
I flew to Ireland to meet the Belfast Basher. I know you're watching this, Belfast Basher. I still want to debate you, bro. I told him, like, I'll do it on live, like we're doing now. I'm going to talk. I'd love to. Bro, he's going to look like he won't do it because he knows deep down that I'm not lying about anything. I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to hide. I'm not scared. I'm a warrior, bro. I'm a fucking warrior, man. And I'm not scared of nobody. I'm not. I will. I wanted to get in the ring with Samuel. I took because he remember at the inner circle. You were there. He chatted at me. He was chatting a big game at the inner circle. He'd had one too many glasses of wine, and he was like, "Me and you, Corey, we need to jump in the ring together." And I was like, "Bring it on, man. Let's do it. Let's make it a thing." And I kept making content about it. And eventually, he responded. He was like, "Oh, chill out, bro." And he actually mentioned he was like, "Chill out, bro. I just want to spar with you, no ego or anything." But bro, I'm all for. I'd love to fight Samuel Leeds.
Do you do boxing? Do you do boxing?
Well, I done a little bit back in the day, mate. I've done a little bit, bits and bobs. But I'm sure Samuel is a better boxer than me. But I would love to get in the ring. Because imagine because I'm going to win either way. Because if I win, then I win. It's great. But if I lose, then great. That's going to be really, it's probably going to be embarrassing. It's going to hurt. Yeah. I'm going to have pain, physical pain, and I'm going to have the emotional pain of looking like a fool. But that is good because that's going to help me grow. It's going to, that might hurt when I get comments online saying, ha ha. So I would love, Samuel, if you're watching this, I know you watch Colin's podcast. I would love to do a boxing match with you. We could do it for charity.
Why don't you go along on one of the Sundays? Why don't you go
because that's not the same because I want to have a proper fight, bro. I want to fight. Like I want to pay, I want tickets. I want to make it a big thing, but I mean,
okay. I'm sure he'd do it. I'm sure he would do it. Yeah.
No, he did. I've tried asking him. Yeah, maybe.
Well, when he fought Rob Moore, they both wagered $100,000. So if you were willing to wager $100,000, he'd probably do it for their charities.
I just want to fight, man.
So there's a school,
but like maybe I'll start off with a Belfast Basher.
Well, don't go to Ireland and get just to get in a fight that's not like.
Well, no, we was going to get in a debate, and we was going to, and I know for a fact he was going to shake my hand and give me a hug after. Obviously, that's two different things. And even the thing with Samuel, it's all love, I haven't got a problem with Samuel. I haven't got a problem with the Belfast Basher. But I think Samuel should fight me because it would be a good, put me on a little bit. Come on, man.
You want to square up and see their friction and see what happens because that's bonding.
Oh, it would be really cool, man. It would be a lot of fun.
You both learn about yourself.
Yeah, man. I respect him, man. I hope so too. I'll just have to get. I think he just won't do it because my following's not big enough, and it's not worth it for him. I totally get it. I probably wouldn't do it if I was in his position. There's no point for him, but he offered me out. That's the only reason I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah. But I will after this podcast.
Then he'll do it.
I will after this podcast. People are going to see this and they're going to be like, this is the best interview of all time.
This interview has gone a very different angle to what I thought it would. Good. Yeah, I'm really grateful to you for doing that. We've just totally gone off on some weird tangents, but
well,
we haven't really talked about property. You know what I think we should do? You know what I think we should do? We should not talk about property and what you do. We'll save that for another episode, maybe, and do another one. We'll put this one out, see how it does.
I got shit to do,
and then we can do another one at some point in the future because. This has been really interesting, and it's actually kind of made me really think about what am I doing with this podcast and moving forward. How do I?
Good, man. I'm glad that and make you think about what you're going to do with your podcast. Amazing, man. Like awesome. Like I love it. Like
it's been
let me know.
Really good talking.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Man. I really
okay. Well, thank you, Corey. Do you want to give your Instagram again? That's the best place to come and share
Instagram is probably by Corey. Feel free to come and drop a hateful comment. I will read it. I will respond. And shout out to you, man. Thank you for having me on the podcast, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Yeah.
But yes, if you have been watching, thank you, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Well. If you are still watching, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. If you're listening to the podcast, Make sure you're subscribed on whatever platform you're on. Leave us a review as well. All that stuff really helps. But the main thing is head on over to our website, selfunemployed.co.uk, and there you'll be able to enter your email address. And once you've done that, you'll get invited to join us when we are recording future episodes. They're going to go out as live streams on YouTube, but not to the public, only to people who are on that mailing list. So if you do that, you'll be able to interact with us, ask questions as we're recording future episodes. I'll see you next time.